Hello everyone, hi and welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo. Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon. Friends, today we are going to have a tutorial on finance versus economics and which one is better. Every student who is going in, who is about to opt for finance or economics, he always is in dilemma that which one is better. So we are going to talk about that over here. See, if you're an aspiring student or are simply curious about the differences between the finance or economics, then this article or this tutorial will aid you in meeting your curiosity. See, in simple terms, economics and finance are just two sides of one coin. So if you want to succeed in finance, you need to know economics as well. Economics is more about finding the equilibrium point of demand and supply, understanding the average cost and marginal cost, finding differences between the fixed cost and variable cost, and many such theoretical concepts. Finance, on the other hand, is right extension of these concepts. Thus, it's often being seen that people who have made their mark in finance have often had economics as a background. See, more scrutiny, economics create the foundation on which the finance builds the house. So if you want to be finance professional, you need to know the economics well to understand the complexity and vastness of finance. In this tutorial, we will look at each of these disciplines separately and then try to compare between two so that you can make an informed decision in regards to your career. Let's begin. We'll start with the finance versus economics as a part of a difference, and let's see how we can go about with things. So let's get to the Excel, and we'll write over here as a point of comparison, and over here as finance, and over here as economics. So once we write this, we can start with. First is the branch that we are going to compare. So in which branches it has been divided. So if we talk about finance, it is divided into corporate finance, quantitative aptitude. We are talking about finance over here. Okay, so it includes quantitative aptitude, quantitative analysis, accounting, management, accounts, risk management, financial analysts, and fixed income and derivatives. But if we talk about economics, then it includes microeconomics and microeconomics. Now let's see the second point of difference, that is known as your career option. Which is the career option, which what are the career options that you can opt for in finance and economics? So in finance, you have investment banking, corporate finance, equity research, private equity, risk management, quantitative analysis, project finance, and technical analysis. But if you talk about economics as a part of this, then you have statisticians, strategists, risk management analyst, operational research analyst, insurance underwriters, and budget analysis. The third is the part as education, what sort of education you require. So if you talk about education, then you require bachelor's in finance, okay, in accountancy. If you talk about finance, then you have economics, mathematics, MBA. You have a lot of degree like CFA, FRM, PRM, CFP, CIMA, CMA, ACCA, CPN, so on and so forth. But if for economics, you have bachelor's degree in economics, master's degree in economics, and PhD. Now the fourth is, which are the top firms that are involved in this? Which are the top firms? They are Blackstone, Goldman Sachs and Company, Morgan Stanley, for finance I'm talking about, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Credit Suisse, Citibank, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, UBS, and JP Morgan Chase and Company. But if you talk about economics, most of the top firms that hire economics graduate include the list of the top finance and business firms. Additionally, economists are hired by marketing, HR, retail, e-commerce companies. Now let's talk about the other point of difference, like what is the work-life balance. So if we talk about work-life balance, then in the first scenario of finance, it depends on which subdomain in finance you are working for. Investment banking, it's brutal. Equity research is still okay. Buy-side analysts have a balanced work life. Depending on the area, you may have to work around 10 to 18 hours a day. But if you talk about economics, then you have a balance and much better than the financial analyst. And work is not urgent all the time of the year. Now let's talk about another point of difference is the travel. See, if we talk about finance, mostly they are not required to travel much. You can safely assume that 90% of the time is spent on office, okay, And over here in economics also, not much of travel is required for economist. Let's see which are the keywords which comes into picture. So I'll write keywords. So the keywords over here are financial modeling in finance, financial modeling, basics, valuations, M&A, NPV, that is net present value, and IRR. But if the key economics word in economics are macroeconomics, microeconomics, GDP, inflation, fiscal policy, exchange rate, currency, crude, commodities, aggregate demand and supply, real versus nominal, elasticity, and saving and investing. Let's talk about the eighth point, that is the exit opportunities. So let's talk about exit opportunities, and we have something over here. See, depending on the chosen area of interest, there are some amazing exit opportunities with the finance sector. For example, investment bankers move into private equity, or research side analysts moving into buy side analyst profile. Let's talk about the other part as a part of economics. See, they include exit opportunities as economic consultant, financial analyst, statistician, and actuarials. Now let's see things in terms of networking opportunities. Okay, networking opportunities is a major thing for any business, for any profession. Without that, it's not possible to grow. See, mostly work within the finance industry, alumni network is strong but not varied as found in the consulting. But if we talk about economics, not much, limited within the domain, and alumni network is available to you. So let's see what is the outlook now. So if we talk about the outlook, then job opportunities across finance domains like you to choose. You need to learn financial statement analysis, financial modeling and valuations, project finance, quantitative finance, risk management, investment analysis, and many more. But if we talk about the outlook on economics, huge demand of economists in the consulting firms, private banks, as well as the public sector is being seen. So finally, let's look at the outlook. Economics and finance are two different disciplines on the basis of their scope of their work. Of course, they are not interrelated, and no matter what you choose, you would occasionally need to refer back to some parts of both these subjects once in a while. But they're different. Let's understand how different they are. In simple terms, economics is a social science that helps in management of goods and service subject to the production, consumption, and other factors directly or indirectly affecting them. Basically, there are only two types of economics that you need to know: microeconomics and macroeconomics. If you talk about microeconomics, it talks about a single unit or a business, and macroeconomics deals with an industry as a whole. There are huge demands of economists in the consulting firms, private banks, as well as public sector. On the other hand, finance is also a science of managing funds subject to three main factors: time, risk involved in the transaction, and liquidity. So there are many branches of finance, and as you go deep in the subject, you will realize that there are more things to learn. For example, you would start with corporate finance to have your fundamentals strong. Then depending on whichever field you choose, you need to learn financial analysis, financial modeling and valuations, project finance, quantitative finance, risk management and portfolio management, investment analysis, and many more. So many people confuse finance with accounting. But finance is much vast than accounting. To learn the fundamentals of finance, you need to have a basic understandings of accounting. But the scope of finance is much more than accounting. If you're good in maths and logical reasoning, you would be able to make your mark in finance field. Now, new ideas are born out of two separate but different ideas. So if you want to do well in finance or economics, it's better than you learn the basics of the others. For example, if you decide to go for financial domain, the basic knowledge in economics will help you understand complex issues, and you will be able to connect two separate ideas and form concepts while studying. On the other hand, if you decide to go for economics, it will definitely help you if you know the fundamentals of finance. Even as an economics student, you will get to know the practical aspect of how firms work in real world. Now, let's understand the education that is required in finance versus economics. So if we talk about finance, the world of education is vast, but still there is a basic structure you can follow. If you want to enter into the world of economics or finance, let's talk about the economics first. See, being an economist is a great profession. Of course, there are basically some things you may dread, like repetitive research depending more on theoretical dimensions than taking practical approach. However, once you become an economist, your growth would be dynamic, and if you wish to learn and be a better economist, top of the curve, you would get all the opportunities to do so. But what you need to do to become an economist? Do you need to follow any basic structure? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. So now there are two things. The first thing, you need to decide what you want to become, a top-notch economist or a professional. So a top-notch economist is like you are in the league, okay, and in organization who looks at the profession to earn for his living. So let's say you want to become a top-notch professional. So you need to earn your bachelor's degree in economics, where you will study business, management, and economics. But to be a top-notch, or better to say top 10% of the economists in the world, you need you need the power of knowledge. So you need to go for the master degree in economics as well, which you will be able to. And then finally, it's better if you earn a PhD as well. Once you are a PhD, your opinions and judgment would be valued much more than a bachelor degree holder or a master degree holder. So I'll show you a chart that looks at the career requirements of an economist. Now, as you can see, the career requirements, the degree level, bachelor degree required. Most positions in the private sector and academia require a graduate degree. Degree field is economics. The experience is internships are really helpful. If you have any such sort of other skills, that will be really good. The computer, your spreadsheet software, office software, and statistical, you need to be good with MS Office. The key skills, math, analytical, and writing skills. The salary is close enough to the median of 95,710 to close enough to $120,000, median of all the economists. Now, the finance professional is much diverse than economist profile. Even many economist graduate often go for finance domain because they feel that they want to explore more of the practical aspect of the business than devising theoretical model. So if you want to go in finance domain, what would be your educational requirement? Let's have a look at the diverse opportunities. The basic thing about finance is that the first you have to have your bachelor's degree. It's always better if you complete your bachelor's in finance, accountancy, economics, or mathematics. These subjects can be foundation for your future course of action. So there are many options from the myriad of opportunities. You need to decide which direction you want to go. Now, I'll tell you each and every one. If you want to get into if you want to work as an investment professional, then in that particular scenario, if you want to go for investment profession, the best thing is to go for CFA. CFA exam will not only equip you to becoming an investment professional, but it will also help you to become an expert in investment analysis, market analysis, and in how to pick the right investment opportunities for your clients. Now, if you want to become a management professional, let's say if you don't want to be an investment professional, but you want to be a management professional, then in that particular scenario, you can also choose to become a management professionals by doing MBA in finance from a reputed college or university. So if you can start pursue your MBA degree from a top-notch university, you would be able to get into investment banking profession or corporate finance of any large corporations. And after doing MBA, you will become more of a business professional than a core finance professional. Now, if you want to go to risk management as a risk management professional, then you can choose to go for FRM exam, CRM exam, ERM, that is energy risk management, and many more other sort of risk management courses like actuaries. You can become a risk management professional within a few years of constant learning and practice. Now, if you want to go as an accountant, then in that particular scenario, you can also decide to go for CA, that is chartered accountant, CPA, and or any other accounting courses to become a public accountant, or else you can join a private bank as well. So as a finance professional, the opportunities are endless. The above are the most sought after, and these are the courses students should choose the most. You can also go for the courses like CS, that is company secretaryship, cost accountant, management accountancy, etc. Now, what are the primary tasks and roles in finance and economics? If we talk about the roles in finance and economics, then let's talk about the main responsibility of an economist in finance. See, the primary task of an economist is that even if it seems that economist is mostly dealing with the theoretical jargons, however, she also needs to analyze and interpret a huge sample of data. Let's look at the primary task of the economist. See, first, an economist's main work revolved around giving advice to the various stakeholders in regards to economics. They also need to gather the data, comprehend various sampling techniques to conduct surveys and creating different econometric. Now, once the forecasting is done, they need to analyze and interpret the trends and come to a conclusion of how the firm strategy needs to be changed, if at all. And finally, the duties also includes writing various technical and non-technical reports to send across to the top management so that they can take proper actions towards changing product policy, sustainability of business, and many such other factors. So, An economist also needs to give various presentation on the research, analysis, and interpretation of the top management executives so that they can make informed decision about the business. What are the primary duties of the finance professional? Let's discuss that. See, now finance profession is very diverse, and as a student can choose different profession, and each profession would have different key tasks. It is difficult to pinpoint only few primary tasks for all of them, so we will give like a brief overview of the primary task of a financial management professional. The primary task may be different in case you may choose to go in any other finance domain. Let's talk about the primary task of a finance management professional. The main responsibility of the finance management professional is to source the funds from the market. It may be in the form of direct loan from the financial institutions or conducting IPO. If it's the first time, or selling more shares to the existing and new shareholders, or for more funds. Once the funds are arranged, it's time to invest the money in the business. So this is also a huge concern for finance management professional. They need to know exactly where to invest so that the business gets maximum ROI from the investment. So if the business makes profit, how to distribute the profit, if at all, or to plow back or for reinvestment in the business should be one of the most important duties of finance management professional. Finally, the finance management professional needs to report or present his finding to the top management to get the approval so that he can go ahead and carry out his primary responsibility. Let's see the work-life balance in both of them, and let's see what is involved in that. Work-life balance, as we have already discussed. See, usually the economists have a greater work-life balance as their work acts as a support to management decision. That does not mean that the work of the economist is not important. However, it does not need to be urgent all the time throughout the year. In case of the finance professional, if you talk about, then the work-life balance varies from the profession to profession. For example, if you are an investment banking professional, your work-life balance will be none, and you won't get weekends to rest and spend time with your families. Even some days you need to spend overnight at offices to meet the requirements of the clients. On the other hand, if you're an equity research analyst, you will achieve a good work-life balance, and you will also get an ample opportunity to spend your weekends with your inner circle, or work pressure is usually much more lesser than investment banking professionals. So the work-life balance depends on which finance domain you pick as a profession. See, you can see as an investment banking in the jobs. Now let's see the compensation part. If you see, this is the most important thing because everyone is always concerned regarding this particular thing. If you see the compensation, then we'll have a look at the compensation of the economist and finance professional. According to the salary.com, an economist earns around close enough to $121,357 per annum as an average salary. So you can understand that the pay is amazing. Let's have a glance of the chart and get an overall idea about the compensation of an economist. Now, if you see the median salary, then in case of economist, the median is 121,357 that we have already discussed. If in the lower end, then the 10% side is 86,94, 25% 100,072, 75% gets around 148,748, and 90% around 173,686. So from the above chart, it's clear that if you can reach up to the top 10% of the curve as an economist, you will earn around 173,686. Okay, and now let's look at the compensation of the finance management professional. If you see the salary of the finance professional, the median is close enough to 84,800, and you can see the salary is between the median number seems to be really good. The salary is above 100k, the bonuses are good, the profit sharings are, and you can see the total pay is about 128 and between 45. So from the above chart, it's clear that the finance management professional earns around 84,800 per annum on an average, and it's just revolving around one dimension of the compensation. We will try to look at the different aspect of it, and that is experience-wise compensation. Let's have a look at that. If you see over here, this is the pay by the experience level for the finance managers. If the entry level, your starting is close enough to 70k, and then it goes on and above as you reach to the 5 to 10 years, then you reach around 90k. As you go above, if you have experience of 10 to 20 years, you reach around 100k or close enough to 100k, and then after on the late greater than 20 years of career, then you go down. So let's make the final conclusion of finance versus economics. See, finance and economics are very different in terms of career. skills, exit opportunities, etc. So a typical economics graduate needs to complete masters and PhD to get the excellent career opportunity. However, finance graduates can complement their graduation by taking certification courses like CFA, FRM, PRM to boost their chances of climbing up in the finance career. There are somehow focused on options and economists. However, in finance, there are broad varieties of choices to choose from. So opt one that interests you the most. So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.